SportsBit is powered by BetOnline, driving the opening odds market since 2001. Visit sportsbookreview.com to learn more about BetOnline and its A+ rated platform in the link below.
Boom! Welcome into SportsBit. Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. Wednesday, November 15th. That's what it is, yeah. Good job out there, Teddy. Big game breakdown. Sixers and the Lakers, and we get to a good matchup finally on Thursday Night Football, Tennessee.
Pauly. I got to cut you off. Check out this montage. These guys put together a killer montage for you. Check it out. Your intros are pretty good. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Yes! Boom! Welcome into SportsBit. Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. One more. Why is that so bright? One. SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to one another. Thanks, one. All right, that is excellent. Very good. You're not supposed to use stuff when I'm not on camera, though. Do they have the rights to that, Teddy? Oh, man.
Boom!
Yeah, that's good stuff there. All right. I could use a tan and a haircut. Christ. I'm a cracker from Minnesota. That is great. I'll do a great job to everyone in Costa Rica and SportsBit. We'll do the goodbyes and thank yous in the deep dive. All right. Thanks for that. That was cool. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Thank you, Teddy. Kent State plus 17.5. What the hell happened here? This was bananas. I was watching the other game, but this all hell broke loose in this one.
So, yeah, the plus 17.5. They ended up losing the game 42-23. Kent, in the fourth quarter, back-to-back possessions, first downs at the Central Michigan 13 and 3-yard lines. Oh, they didn't get a point in either one. And then Paul Haynes went for it on 4th and 21 at his own 9 with 2.5 minutes left. He got sacked at the 2, Central with the gimme touchdown. So that's brutal. The Flashes blow a pair of prime scoring chances and give Central a third one, all in the fourth quarter to lose by 19 to 17.5 point dogs. Ooh, that's an ouch, Pauly.
Yes, it was. Tough beat. Spurs minus 6.5 against the Mavs. They led by 11 with 2 minutes left. Smith with a couple easy dunks. They let him lay it in. There's a 3 late. Shenanigans there in that one too, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't a bad beat because it's not like the other game where it's just, here you go. You guys take the cover. We don't want it. This is a tough beat because here's a game that the Spurs are in control in the fourth quarter. You know, they're laying 6.5. They're up by doubles. They're up by 9 with the minutes left. But Dennis Smith had a real nice final couple of minutes. And Spurs win by only 6. San Antonio minus 6.5. Backers, they did not like Dennis Smith in the final minute of the game.
Here's a bad bet. This surprised me. Ohio that didn't surprise me. They took money 13 up to 15.5 because Woodson didn't play the quarterback, so it was Nelson again. If Ohio won, they were in the MAC title game, and they've been playing good football. They just beat Toledo. They lose 37-34 as 15-point dogs. Nelson played well. He's terrific, actually, for Akron. If the Zips win next week, they're in the MAC title game.
Yeah, and Ohio, again, a ton of Ohio money. You can understand why. Woodson out. We talked right here on SportsBit about how Cato Nelson was solid in his debut. He was better than solid last night. 322 yards and 3 touchdowns in the outright upset. Yeah, Bobcats were a bad bet, especially if he got them at the bad number.
All right, and Michigan State took a little bit of money. This was a fantastic game. Duke wins by 7. They get the cover. It goes over the total. 97 points scored in the second half. Grayson Allen had 37, and they did this when Bagley got poked in the eye. It was Sparty led late, but Dukies pull away and get the win.
Yeah, and of course, a ton of Michigan State money in that ball game. Duke was 2-point chalk at the open. They were 1.5-point dog at the close. And of course, I mean, it was a Grayson Allen show last night. 37 points, 7 trifectas. But it's worth noting, Duke plus 12 on the glass in that game. 25 offensive rebounds against a Spartan team that isn't going to lose the rebounding battle very often. It's certainly not by double digits. Duke is bigger this year, and it showed last night.
There's a big 6-figure bet in town at William Hill on Michigan State as well. Bad for the books. Oh, my God. Bad for the books, bad beat. Celtics Nets total 206.5 up to 209. And then the line was between 6.5 and 7.5 all day. Bam, right in the middle. 109, 102. Celtics win 13 in a row. But the Nets hit a three with 2 seconds left.
Yeah. And of course, all the money comes in on the over, bettors cash all of that. And when you're talking about bouncing, and literally there was 6.5, 7, 7.5, back down to 7, back to 6.5, all day long at every book here in Las Vegas and offshore. So everybody cashed a winning bet. Nobody lost that game. It's all winning bets, pushes. That's never good for the books when bettors cash on both side and total.
And here it is. We're not even a week into this season. We've had a 22 and a 19-point move on totals. Nebraska, Omaha, New Mexico, 159 up to 178. And it lands 174. It was 35-34 at the half.
Yeah, the Lobos went nuts in the second half. 68 second half points for New Mexico, 105 second half points for the game. And when we're talking about a 19-point move on the total, we've seen some big ones already, and we'll continue to see a handful of big moves. Remember, it doesn't take as much money to move a college basketball total as it does, an NFL side, for example. So the books react quickly, but when we're talking about 19-point moves, 22-point moves, those are huge moves with a lot of money, and most of that cashed last night with the Nebraska, Omaha, New Mexico over, cashing in for all but the latest bettors to the party.
All right. I love William Hill. They have a great app and the largest in-play wagering menu every single day. I do a show with for William Hill. What do you have on this? I won't say a bad word about him. What's this story you have?
No, it's just an interesting story, but it talks about how everybody is jockeying for position because it's looking more and more likely like we are going to see legal sports betting in the United States. So there was a lawsuit filed we got William Hill, who owns stock in a company called NYX, and they're threatening, in theory, to use their voting shares to block the acquisition of a company called Scientific Games. And it's one of these lawsuits that's just, it's way back. It's not something that's, huge news, but it speaks volumes about what the future of this industry and how it's shaking out right now, because everybody is angling to grab market share right now. Here's the quote from David Schwartz, the director of the Center for Gaming Research at UNLV. He's an excellent follow on Twitter. Quote, many in the industry think that it's only a matter of time before sports betting is opened up one way or another. With that mindset, it is important to establish a position now, as states and operators will be choosing partners quickly. For the past 30 years, gaming companies have been driven by the promises of expansion. In the past, that has meant more states opening themselves up to casino gaming, but the final frontier may be sports betting. So again, this lawsuit's not big news in terms of making giant statements, but it's a huge deal when we talk about the fact that there may be 32 states. There was a report from a company that studies this stuff. 32 states could have legalized gaming within 5 years of a Supreme Court decision in favor of bettors. So it's interesting to note, and certainly something worth watching as the industry itself shakes out.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. I don't care, even if they get their way, New Jersey, and what happens with legalized betting. I'll tell you what, I don't think, what's going to happen with race books, Teddy? The guys who bet horses are dying, and the millennials don't care.
Nope. Horse racing has been dying for the last 20 years. It's been dying a longer and slower death than that. Many of the tracks around, the only tracks that are still in business are the ones that have been able to market themselves effectively. So many tracks closed over the last 20 years. But, what happens to those? Casino gambling. That's what has saved the tracks back east that are still going, and I would expect to see more of that moving forward.
Early week line moves in the NFL, 26-16 and 26-16 and 3 year to date. Tough one last week, 1-4. Bit of a surprise. I'm not high on Stafford, but I think the Lions can still win the division. That actually moved from plus $3.20 to $2 over the last 48 hours, which is something. Early money for the Bears against the Lions. I don't know what they're doing here with the Giants. They have absolutely quit on McAdoo, and they said they're keeping him until the end of the year. Management, that is. You figure it out. In New England, taking money at Oakland in Mexico City.
Yeah, the Bears-Lions is worth talking about for just a moment here because Detroit has passed all the eye tests. You watch the Lions, they look good. When you look at their aggregate stats, yards per play stats, they're lousy. So you're going to see the wise guys, the sharp money per se, continue to fade the Lions. We're seeing it already this week with the early money coming in on the Chicago Bears. And it's worth noting the game that's not on this list. The Buffalo Bills just benched a quarterback who's been in the top 10 in QBR each of the last 2 years for a 5th-round rookie in Nathan Peterman. The line didn't move. The Chargers Bills still sitting in that same 4.5 range as it was before the announcement. In my mind, that's an underreaction from the betting markets. The markets just do not like Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's an odd move. How about this? It looks like he'll play, but Rivers self-reported a concussion on Monday. It could have been Kellen Clemens against Peterman. Oh, God. And you wonder why ratings are down. Up next, big game breakdown. 76ers and Lakers, and a good one. Thursday night, Titans and the Steelers, straight ahead on SportsBit. Betting Insight today at SBRpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Sportsbook Review, YouTube's largest sports betting channel. Every day we're here giving you the most up-to-date news and info, all to help you make the best bet. On top of that, guys, it's free. So look, do us a favor, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment or a question. Our goal here is to make sure that everyone becomes a smarter, better. So join the SPR Army today and start winning with Sportsbook Review.
Back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy, big game breakdown. Always sponsored and powered by our good friends at BetOnline. Check out the bonus page at sportsbookreview.com for the latest and best offers to open a new account today. And be sure to subscribe and check out SBR odds and SBR picks as well with the current odds when you watch this video. 76ers and Lakers, ESPN. Sixers are 3 on the road, 219.5 the total. 5 straight road games for Philly. But they were in L.A. and they beat the Clippers on Sunday, 109-105. They were in L.A. Sunday, beat the Clippers on Monday, rather, 109-105. And Embiid talks the talk, backs it up, destroyed DeAndre Jordan, had 32 points. Total mismatch. Not only does he beat you, Teddy, he's done it to Whiteside, Drummond, and Jordan. He gets in their head when he talks trash.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched that game on Monday night. And I'm telling you, with the Sixers making the plays down the stretch against the veteran Clippers and badly outplaying L.A. in that contest over the last 4 or 5 minutes. And the Lakers in a situation where they just got back from a road trip. They're only in town for a day, and then they're flying out again. So, the 76ers been in L.A. since Sunday. Lakers just got there, and they're on their way home. Only 1 day of turnaround time after their 4-game trip. You might say the home court advantage at Staples Center may not be what it's cracked up to be for this particular evening. You talked about Embiid. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. I am so impressed with what he's done early on at an NBA level. And we're talking about this young Sixers team. What have they done already? They've won straight up on the road at Detroit, at Dallas, at Houston, at Utah, and against the Clippers. That's a pretty impressive a handful of road wins already for 76ers team that I've got nothing but buy signs on.
Yep. SportsBit's been telling you about the Lakers all across their defense all across this last road trip. 4-0 to the under by an average of 23 points. And Luke Walton was in a tough spot because they actually play better when ball goes to the bench. Number one, he can't shoot and he can't play defense. They're number 4 in defense now as a team, if you can believe it. Easier to keep them on the bench on the road as opposed to at home, though. And look what happened Monday. They won 100-93 in Phoenix. Ball in, 28 minutes, outscored by 11 points. Ball out, 19 minutes, plus 18. He left with 2:47 left in the third. They were down 4. Outscored Phoenix 35-24 the rest of the way, Teddy.
Yeah, and Ball never got back into the game in the fourth quarter of that contest. The quote from Luke Walton speaks volumes here. The way the NBA is supposed to work and has worked as long as I can remember is young players come in and sit as they watch and they watch the vets do it. And then they watch the vets and they watch how the vets do it. And they get hungry. As they get opportunities, they're more professional because they've learned from people who have done it before them. Now, it's not just Ball. There are a lot of moving pieces with this Lakers lineup. 8 different guys are averaging between 9.5 and 15.5 points per game, although 7 while Larry Nance is out. But the Lakers don't have the go-to scorer. They're all balanced right now, which does sometimes create problems during crunch time, especially when your point guard can't be on the floor in the most crucial minutes of the ballgame because of defensive ineptitude.
All right. We'll get back to this one coming up with the play of the day. Thursday night, a good one on NBC. Titans and the Steelers, 6-3 against 7-2. Steelers are 7-44 the total. I don't know what to do with the Titans here. They're winning games, but it hasn't been impressive. They had to go to overtime to beat the Browns. 4 straight wins, but they won by 3, 3, 3, and 4. And this offense is supposed to be better. There's weapons, Teddy. You got Henry and Murray. They both have 400 yards rushing. They drafted Davis, top 10 pick. They brought in Decker. Mariota, in and out of the lineup, a little banged up. He's got the shoulder injury. He's a little nicked up with the shoulder and ankle. He's supposed to play. But there's too much talent on this offense for them to struggle, and the defense actually helping them out here. A big reason why they're 6-3.
Sure, but I mean, the fact that they've been winning these close games. Remember, this is a team that as recently as 2015, just 2 years ago, they were 3-13. The year before that, they were 2-14. You know, last year up to 9-7. But the fact that they're finding ways to win close games, again, winning by 3, 3, and 4, their last 3 contests on this 4-game winning streak, rallying from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Cincy last week and overcoming a ton of adversity in that ballgame. Remember, you know, Corey Davis fumbles as he's reaching for the end zone. That ends up being a touchback, missed field goal, etc. They've had a lot of chances they haven't been able to take full advantage of. But certainly when you look at the 2 graphics, the offensive graphic is very clear. Yards per play down, yards per rush down, yards per pass down from where they were a year ago. The defensive stats are better, and yet from the eye test, I continue to see the defense make some mistakes, some crucial mistakes, like the 70-yarder they gave up to A.J. Green in the fourth quarter, as well as a first quarter touchdown to Brandon LaFell, who was running wide open in the secondary. Of course, that's a defense that's being coached by Dick LeBeau. This will be his first game back in Pittsburgh after 16 years with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin had a lot to say about it. Quote, "As awesome as it will be to see Dick on a personal note, he's not the kind of guy you want to see in a headset on the other sideline. They're taking the ball away. They're minimizing run game. They're making the explosion in the splash plays. That's the signature of his ball. If you give him red paint, he's going to paint the barn red. He's always been sharp and flexible enough to meet the needs of all of the variables, meaning the people he has versus the people that he's playing against." LeBeau, certainly a coordinator that I would have no problems recommending, but that Titans defense, despite the improved numbers, continues to show some cracks.
And with the Steelers off the close call against the Colts, as we told you, Tomlin's horrible against bad teams. It's just bizarre. In any event, you look at the schedule, and 13-3 is doable. And they have that showdown with New England at home in a few weeks, which could decide the 1 seed. But first things first, their offense is struggling. I mean, they are 19th in points per game. They're averaging 20 points per game. That's unacceptable with all those weapons. And a big reason why is Ben. 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And you look at this graphic, part of the more problems with the offense, Roethlisberger passer rating from 95.4 to 83.8, and Bell's yards per rush, 4.9 down to 3.8. They're also dropping a lot of passes, too. And you had that distraction with Brian, who was complaining about his role. They have to do a better job, Teddy, bottom line.
Yeah, but I mean, the scary thing about Pittsburgh's offensive numbers is that Antonio Brown having another monster season. I mean, he leads the NFL in receiving yards. He's gotten a lot more of that after the catch this season instead of being the big plays downfield that Roethlisberger's known for, because the big plays haven't worked. The long downfield passes haven't worked in the Steelers' repertoire so far this season. So we got to give Antonio Brown credit for continuing to make plays. The rest of the offense has been spotty at best. And the Steelers' defense, we've talked a lot about Pittsburgh's dominant defensive numbers here on SportsBit throughout the course of the campaign. And we talked about how healthy that defense was. It's not healthy anymore. Joe Hayden out for the year. James Harrison missed last week. He's got a back injury. Don't know if he's going to be able to go. Mike Mitchell in a walking boot. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to go. So a Steelers defense that had been healthy and dominant, well, now they're not so healthy. We'll see if they can stay dominant.
I would imagine the public would tease this too, and hard to disagree. We're on a strange stretch here, Teddy, where only one dog of 7 points or higher has won a game outright in the last month. It's crazy after the dogs were barking early on.
Sure. I mean, this is not unusual for a long NFL season. What you're going to have over the course of the campaign, you're going to have ebbs and flows. And over the last 3 weeks, I think it's 28-6 for the favorites in straight up fashion. And the big dogs haven't been there. This has been a strong stretch for the public. And the wise guys have gotten beaten up for the last couple of weekends in the NFL. There are nuances, and the ebbs and flows of the season are going to create some opportunities. I'm not convinced that the lack of underdog success in recent weeks is necessarily going to carry forward through Thanksgiving and beyond.
All right, very good. Up next, the deep dive. It's quick. I'll say thank you and goodbye, and then the play of the day on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.
All right, wrapping up on SportsBit, Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. As some of you may or may not know, I think in late August, I started Morning Drive with VSiN. I'm up at 2 in the morning now. It's big that SportsBit and the staff and management team, they want us to be aggressive, promotion, big on Twitter. I was not able to do that. I wasn't available for the Thursday night chats anymore because I gotta sleep, for Christ's sake. Also, I've been doing this 17 years in the business. I know I'm abrasive to begin with, but then coming in grumpy after working a 4-hour shift and getting up at 2 in the morning, then doing SportsBit. I know I was, Teddy says some stuff that bothers me, so I was snapping at him too, and I was grumpy on the air. I know I could tell that without asking people, so that was a problem. Not promoting the show and other stuff, and also going back and forth on the message boards and the replies on YouTube, which I enjoyed doing early on. I wasn't doing much of that as well, although 1% of you are a big pain in the ass. Let me just say that the guy who complains about the free play is just astonishing to me. After we hit like 68% last year in football, so. The staff and the team couldn't be any nicer. Thanks to Juan, because I don't know anything about technical stuff and equipment. Juan saved my ass many times. Zach's terrific. Drew, Cynthia, Deb. Am I forgetting anybody? Alicia was great when she was part of the team behind the scenes. So hopefully we can get back down the road and do some things together. I take this to my grave. This show should be on television somewhere. We'll see what happens in New Jersey in a month. This needs to be a 23-minute show on television because sports betting is so big now. And imagine what happens if it's legal all over the United States. And thanks to Teddy, this is your idea and your baby. And thanks for going to bat for me and letting me get the job. And I think I've hit just about everything. So Teddy will take it from here. And it's been a nice run here for the last couple years. But my other job is carried over and contributed to a lack of effort, not being available for SportsBit. So that I regret, but we have to move on. And there it is.
Flash the shirt, buddy. Flash the shirt.
Yeah, the shirt. Yeah, I got the T-shirt. All right. Yeah. There you go. Pick that up. All right.
Pauly,
excellent. Go ahead.
I don't want to get maudlin. I'm going to miss the hell out of you, dude. I really am. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I hope you make $1 million over there at VSiN. And I hope that 5 years from now, you and I are, on center stage, maybe on the same show, maybe competing against each other, talking about sports betting as a mainstream and normal American, U.S., I don't know what you want to call it, hobby, something that people enjoy to do. I'm going to miss you, Pauly. I really am. Thank you for all of your hard work. Thanks for your dedication. And I know the audience out there is, they're sobbing in their beers right now. That being said, the show must go on. SportsBit will be on air tomorrow and Friday and next week. We're going to tweak the format a little bit, and we really look forward to getting your feedback on that. But thanks again, Pauly. I really appreciate it. Come on, give me one more play of the day. Close out with one POD to finish out your tenure.
Money time play of the day. Back to the Sixers and Lakers. Betting number 721, 722. Let's go under 219.5. Makes sense. I know they're both top 5 in pace, but you see the run here that the Lakers have been on with these unders, and somehow, some way, they're number 4 in defense after they were dead last year. So let's go under again and keep it rolling with that Laker train under 219.5. That is the play of the day, and this one for our stats guy. Always follow the money, right? Teddy has you the rest of the way. He'll talk to you tomorrow on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com. Thanks to Zach. Thanks to Juan. Take care, everyone.